Why are there always planes? Hello my precious everyone, welcome back to Wow Mel. I am so sorry if this video has many background noises because it is just a happen in place here today, evidently. It is actually Valentine's Day today, so I have like a cute like Valentine's Day biker girl look that I'm going for. We'll see how it turns out. Anyways, today I kind of just wanted to sit down and share my thoughts about a topic that comes up sometimes in the community, the cosplay community, I should clarify. It usually just comes up more on like the toxic side of it because most cosplayers that I've met have actually been some of the sweetest people I've met in my entire life, and I mean that with my entire heart, like I'm so serious. But I did just kind of want to touch on the stigma, sounds like a strong word, but like low-key, and the way people look down on cosplayers who buy their cosplays, and this thought that if people make their cosplays, they're just inherently better cosplayers than those who don't. So I'll just be sharing my thoughts, but I do kind of want to preface this with a few things. First of all, I do buy or I like do closet cosplays. I have not made any of my cosplays myself, so that's sort of just the background perspective that I have, though I very much want to one day when I have a bit more free time and I can learn how to sew. And I have tried armor making. That didn't go so well, but I have like videos about it, so you can check that out. And I also just want to get it out there that I support all cosplayers, whether you buy your cosplays, you make your cosplays, you alter your cosplays, you get handed down your cosplays, you piece them together, whatever you like, whatever you choose to do, I support you in that endeavor. All cosplayers are amazing, and if you do create your cosplays, I do want it to be known that I have a lot of respect for all the time, energy, and effort that you are able to put into making your cosplays, because that is not a skill I currently possess. So I just want to make that known that I do hold respect and admiration for all cosplayers just right off the bat. But I hope everyone can approach this topic from a place of understanding. I know there's somewhat of a debate on whether buying cosplays you are even a real cosplayer, and that's not really gonna be the central point I make in this video because I think it's pretty obvious that you are a real cosplayer. Cosplay is costume play. It's when you dress up as a character. It doesn't specify the specific manner in which you have to do it. So if you are dressing up as a character, you are cosplaying. I will not be entertaining the debate that unless you hand make your cosplay, you're not a cosplayer, because that is just not true. Even though it does come up occasionally, I feel like that's not something that's really being entertained by most cosplayers anymore. It feels very gatekeepy, and we're kind of moving past that as a community, I think. But there still is this idea that if you buy your cosplay or put them together through stuff you already own versus just making them from scratch, then you are not as good of a cosplayer, or you're not worth as much success and things like that. And I do want to say that I actually, on the surface, understand the sentiment that this is coming from. It can feel unfair if someone's putting like 30-40 hours into sewing a cosplay. They're not getting as many likes and follows and things as someone who maybe just buys their cosplay and does get those things. So I understand the sentiment that this comes from, and I also know not a lot of people think this way, but I feel like there's this weird rhetoric that comes up when speaking to cosplayers who perhaps purchase their cosplays that they're not really putting in much effort, so they don't deserve rewards. There are a few things about that. There are many ways to put effort into cosplay outside of just making the cosplay. Of course, that can take a ton of effort. You put effort into styling wigs, you put effort into makeup, you can put effort into figuring out locations for shoots and figuring out poses and facial expressions and editing your photos. Sometimes people edit videos to go with them. Sometimes people make cosplay content like I do, and I run a YouTube channel. You can run your various various social media accounts. And honestly, it does take some effort to find pieces you're looking for, even if you are buying them. And also, if you are buying something, you are putting your money into it, and money is typically earned through working a job. So that is another way you are putting in effort, even if you are only purchasing it. I think this is also specifically a very American way of viewing things, that you have to work really hard in order to be worthy of a response. And I don't think that's true. I don't think you have to like break your back in order to be worthy of a positive response to something. I think that's just a product of our capitalistic society. Am I getting too deep with this? I feel like I've been reading this book. Let me go get it, hold on. I have been reading this book called Justice. It is a fantastic book. It has been making me think so hard about so many things that now I'm like even overanalyzing things that maybe low-key don't need to be overanalyzed this much. Oh yeah, what's my point here? Oh, that you don't... People who buy their cosplays do still work hard on cosplay generally, but you don't even have to work hard to be worthy of success. That was my point. Because as long as you love cosplay, I think you're worthy. I don't think it has to be anything more than that. And I also feel like low-key this whole thing creates this sort of false narrative that all cosplayers are looking for success, which I think is something people get a lot. And obviously, if you're sharing your cosplays, you generally want people to see it. And there's actually nothing wrong with wanting success, for wanting people to see what you're doing. But I also do think it kind of creates this false narrative that everything people do is for likes. And I don't think that's true at all, especially in terms of cosplay. It's usually just done as an expression of love for a certain media or character. I'm going off tangent here. I wrote like a basic outline of things I want to say, but it's just getting really rambly, so please bear with me because I'm just having so many more thoughts. I feel like there's also this expectation that you must make your cosplays in order to be valid, but that's not necessarily the point of cosplay. Of course, prop making, armor making, and sewing is a huge sort of subcategory of cosplay. They do overlap with cosplay a lot, and it's cool to see the ways in which they combine, but cosplaying is dressing up as a character. And if you love dressing up as someone, I don't think you need to necessarily be expected to make it, because some people do cosplay because they love to create costumes, but not everyone does. Some people just love to be that character. So I'm not sure why they need to be expected to create it themselves in the first place. Some people just don't like to sew or make their stuff, and I don't think they should necessarily be expected to in order to be valid, because you're doing it because you love dressing up as a character, not because you love to sew necessarily, even though it's really cool if you can. The fact that that's kind of an expectation is something I don't necessarily think is something we should keep pushing. Also, let's just address the fact that not everyone has the ability to learn to sew right now. Not everyone has access to a sewing machine or lessons or fabric or things like that. Kind of like me, I'm sure I could force myself to make the time, but I do have many hobbies, and though I want to learn to sew, not all of us do have time to learn how to do it right now. So it's also just kind of an unfair expectation, and some people's parents won't let them learn how to sew, and there are all these sorts of barriers that people may be facing. If I had to sum it up a bit, I feel like all these expectations we have of cosplayers one way or another, that they should sew, that they shouldn't sew, that they should make all their props, that they shouldn't, I feel like we should just kind of drop those, because it's kind of not productive at all. It's hard to measure effort and time and energy people put in, because there's so many different aspects to cosplay that require effort and energy. There's also a question of whether you even need to put in a ton of time for something to even be worthy, because also, like, what if you're just making something out of a previous cosplay you already made, so it's like faster for you to do it? Does that mean it's less worthy? Like, there's all these weird complications that I really think are just completely unnecessary. Like, trying to pick if they're valid cosplayers, if people who make their cosplays are better than those who don't, it just creates this false dichotomy that we have to pick in the first place. that we have to come up with an answer of what makes a cosplay good or what makes a cosplayer worthy. Cosplay, at least to me, is a beautiful form of expression and art. Different people find different things beautiful, kind of like paintings. Some people will find it beautiful, some people won't, but all artists can kind of coexist, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a giant competition all the time. Different cosplayers derive happiness and joy and value from different parts of the cosplay experience. Some people do get it from making their cosplays, and some people don't, and both are completely okay. There is a time and place for judging and comparison, but that's in actual cosplay contests where everyone's, you know, signing up for it and actually putting themselves out there to be judged and compared. But for those things, I'm like 99% sure you have to make your own cosplays anyways, so that might not even necessarily be relevant to the current conversation. Outside of that circumstance, there's really not much of a point in comments like, you're not a real cosplayer, why do you keep buying your cosplays, etc. Not that I get those frequently, but I do know it's something that kind of exists in the larger community, and I think that we should just show love to all cosplayers instead of using time and energy to try and figure out what's better, what's true cosplay, what's of more value. I think we should just be spreading love to everyone. I love cosplay, I love cosplayers, I love all the different ways to cosplay, I love all the different people who cosplay, and I think we should hold value in what everyone brings to the table and admire skill sets of all kinds. To spearhead the quest for spreading love and support, I'm just going to put on the screen a big ol' list of a bunch of cosplayers that I love and admire. Some of who I know personally, some of who I don't. I just think they are all amazing people and they all bring so much to the hobby that I just really admire. At the end of the day, we all cosplay because we love it, because we love characters, because we love media. I don't think we have to entertain these types of gatekeepy, toxic comments. And I think instead of deciding what makes a worthy cosplay or what makes a worthy cosplayer and trying to pit different types of cosplayers against one another, I think instead we should just focus on ignoring those types of comments and then just pressing forward and spreading love and joy, because we are all amazing people who bring so much to the table. I know this may have seemed a little cheesy, but I cannot overstate how much joy the cosplay community has brought into my life. So when I see the toxic parts of it, I kind of just want to address it and counteract it with some love, because I think that's what many cosplayers hold in their heart, is always love and support for other cosplays and other cosplayers. When I just talk about cosplay and cosplayers, we're just so beautiful that my heart gets full and happy and I can't stop. Let me know your thoughts below, and also if you have any favorite cosplayers, be sure to link them down below too, because I would love to check them out. If you want to I can't talk anymore. If you want to check out my cosplay Instagram, it's at wow__Mel. If you like this video or other videos like this, I make videos about cosplay, Dungeons and Dragons, and other various nerdy hobbies. I post every other Sunday, and I would love to have you join me. I also will be hopefully streaming on Twitch soon, so I'll leave my link in the description for that. Remember, all cosplays and cosplayers are valid. Keep spreading love. I hope you have a beautiful day, my precious everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!